for a little bit at least. It's gonna be odd talking to myself, but here we are. We're gonna make the best of it. Hey everybody, I am here with a cup of ginger ale, my forever straw, and some suspiciously cloudy skies, trying to make up some streaming days. Today we're gonna be covering New Game Plus, what it is, what it does, what it's for, recurring characters, some of my favorite characters. We might be joined by some friends to discuss theirs. And then we'll be doing some discussion of in-game lore. Should be fun. 1 second. Just pardon my phone in the background. And I do apologize if you hear the clinking of my straw in the background. I've not been feeling well the last couple days, but we're gonna make the best of it, like I said. So New Game Plus is, just what it says on the tin. You go into your duty menu, New Game Plus, and you have a couple different options. They're working on a Realm Reborn right now, but right now it is primarily main scenario, raids and alliance raids, and the side stuff that you get to do going through the game. We're going to keep going with main scenario because that'll help us cover some of the recurring characters. Where we left off was we had just finished up seeing Eorzea, and now we're going to go search for Alphino. And that, of course, takes place in the Crystarium. We have to go talk to the Exarch again. It helps if I can see the Aetheryte. So, right now... Oh no, it did change it back. So, right now, as you can see, in previous streams you may have noticed that the sky was normal, but since we're in New Game Plus, we're seeing all of this happen again. It has reverted back to the Flood of Light. We're gonna go get our quest from the Exarch. You will visit Alphino and Eorzea next, then. Excellent. As I mentioned, your destination is an island off the west coast, so you will need a mount capable of making the journey. Here is a letter of introduction. Present it to Zhenmai, Master of Beasts at the Temenos Rookery, and he will take care of you. When you see Alphino, be sure to pass on my warmest regards. He says that because Alphino probably yelled at him too. See, we get to cheat a little bit in New Game Plus, because it assumes that we have all of the Aetherites and stuff. But initially, you couldn't do that. The Temenos Rookery. Your face is unknown to me. What business have you at my rookery? I'll give him the letter of introduction. Signed by the Exarch, no less. Yes, I can provide you with an Amaro for passage to Eorzea. I will pick you out a friendly whelp. Play dumb. That's right. Mounts like my gray friend over there are a common sight in these parts. But I gather you hail from further afield. More accustomed to chocobos, perchance? I hear there are a few places where they ride little else. Seeing as you are plainly unaccustomed to riding Amaro, I think it best I accompany you on this flight myself. Any Zun worthy of the name could do it, of course, but the Exarch sent you to me. Ensuring you arrive safely is my responsibility. Gather your things and meet me at the Amaro launch. One of our junior tamers will attend to you while I ready the mounts. We're gonna go to the launch. It's right here. You want to fly an Amaro to Calusia? Well, I suppose if Master Zhenmai is going with you... Wait here, please. The Master should be along at the mount shortly. I can now travel to Calusia. Cool. And we're gonna go to Calusia now. Which, if you were here for environments, we talked at great length about the areas around Calusia. It's a very pretty area.
The whistling breeze, mute. The pounding surf, frozen. Time itself takes a breath. At light's edge, all is perfectly still. The world captured in a painting, locked in a moment. Music, faint and fleeting, drifts coastward on the lifeless air. And in the distance, beyond the broken earth, a city beckons.
We are arrived. This is the Cracked Shell Beach on the eastern coast of Calusia. You should be safe here for the present. Compared to the mainland, Sin Eater attacks are far less prevalent, and the native beasts are not any more dangerous than elsewhere. It is the people you should be wary of. Spy you that city in the distance? That is Eorzea, the island's main settlement. It rivals the Crystarium in scale, and was once an ally in our battle against the abominations. For years, the Eorzea elite have fancied themselves the masters of what remains of our broken world. They have gone so far as to offer the leaders of other settlements their protection, if we bend the knee. But to say their ideals are questionable would be putting it mildly. The Crystarium is one among many who resist their heavy-handed authority, and while we are not at war, our relationship with Eorzea is strained at best. It may be wise to conceal your ties with the Exarchs during your stay here, especially in the vicinity of the city. I am glad we understand each other. Now, the Exarch has instructed me to divulge a secret that should make finding your friend a good deal easier. Listen closely. So, as you can see, New Game Plus doesn't give me any experience points, no items or anything, because we've already gotten them. But it is a great way to relive just some absolutely amazing stories. Like, I can't overstate how good Shadowbringers in particular is. If you head south along the coast, you will eventually come to a fisherman's shack. A friend of the Crystarium lives there, a man who goes by the name of Eivor. Eivor keeps an eye on everything that happens in Calusia, and will be able to point you in the right direction. Just hand him a sprig of thyme. That will let him know you can be trusted. Here, this should be enough. Find your friend. I will stay here with the Amaro until you are ready to return. So we're gonna fly there so I don't have to fuss with these guys. And we're gonna talk to Eivor. What you after? Fish? Crab? I think I've got an eel in a barrel somewhere if you have a taste for him. We're gonna hand him the lake thyme. Ooh, I do love a bit of thyme. Chuck some in the pan and it's like a bloody festival of flavor. Now what is it I can do for you? Can't say as there's been any major upsets to report these last few weeks. I'll explain to him. Alphino, eh? I know the one. Our young champion of the downtrodden. Eorzea richer than all of Norvrent put together, but it's a different story for them as live outside the city. Most spend every waking moment just trying to stay alive, which makes your friend's dedication to helping others stand out all the more. I can hazard a guess as to where he is now. Get a message to him. But you'll need somewhere quiet to meet, away from prying eyes. Make for Stiltide. That's the fishing village just up the path there. You're looking for a rundown excuse for a tavern the locals call the Leaky Keel. Wait there and I'll see that Alphino joins you. The benefit to New Game Plus is that if you do all this over again, you have all of your flying, you have all of your aetherites and stuff. Like, I could teleport into Eorzea right now if I wanted to. Let's see, I need to go in here. This your first time in a tavern? It's customary to buy a drink if you mean to loiter. What'll you be having? Let's go with mead. A fine choice. And what'll you be paying with? Well now, those are exotic. Where did you come by coins like that? I'm sorry, dear. I don't doubt they have value, but I don't have a touchstone to test their purity, and I'm not about to go begging for one from the neighbors, so we'll just have to come to some other arrangement. Ah, here's an idea. There's a common to the north where we grow our vegetables, but lately the pests have been eating more of them than we have. What do you say to a bit of extermination work? I want you to squash any vermin you find, then visit the caretaker, give him an earful from me for sleeping on the job. He'll be in the old silo next to the fence, snoring like as not. Do that for me, and you can laze about here as long as you like. So, we're gonna go bug killing. Cool. Oh, hi, Lena. Welcome to the stream. I just noticed you there. Oops. It helps if I turn on my overlay, doesn't it? But yeah, the UI for it really is, I think it's quite pretty, to be honest. I appreciate that it lets me just kind of clip through this stuff. Yeah, the music in Shadowbringers in particular was just absolutely incredible. The first soundtrack that I actually spent money on versus like streaming it on iTunes or something or Spotify. I'm trying to find out what happened to this poor dude. You hear a faint squeaking from the room beyond. Time to burst in and save the day, brave adventurer. No one is home, and judging by the lack of furniture, they haven't been for some time. The gnawed scraps of vegetables on the floor suggest rats have taken up residence in their absence. So, this dude's missing. We don't know what happened to him. Probably nothing good. But we gotta go back and let the bar lady know. Welcome back, dear. What did that good-for-nothing caretaker have to say for himself? Gone? Must have left to join the rest of the hopefuls. In Gate Town, outside Yulemore? You don't have a clue what I'm talking about, do you? And there I was thinking you were another dreamer. I think they reset the quests, Lena, but I don't think that they give you, like, they don't give you the rewards for it. Like, I think you can do them just for the stories. We're gonna find out, though. Well, never mind all that. Take a seat wherever you like, dear. You've more than earned it. I'll even throw in another drink on the house. Yeah, you don't get any quest rewards from New Game Plus. This is purely for story.
And how is business today, Mistress Theva?
Oh, frenetic. Look, I have a new customer.
I'll get into all of the different options in New Game Plus after this cutscene.
seeds you wanted. They should produce a better harvest than the last.
What, just like that? Oh, Ralph, no, you really are a dear.
I love him so much.
Well, I'd best be tidying up some of those empty shacks before the pests move in. Keep an eye on the place while I'm out, eh?
It seems an age since last we spoke. Not since the prisoner exchange in Doma. And Eorzea. It has been even longer for me, of course, if you count the days I've spent here. The time has only added to the relief I feel at seeing you safe and well.
Let's go mom friend route.
Eorzea said much the same thing. I don't think I've ever had such a scolding. But I believe an exchange of news is in order. Come, tell me of your arrival and all that came before. I see. Both the Exarch and Eorzea told me what they knew of events, but I had stubbornly clung on to the hope that all-out war might yet be avoidable. And poor Tataru. She must be sick with worry. We must endeavor to return as soon as we may. It would be nice to bring her good tidings for a change. But before we bid this world farewell, we must first ensure that it is not rejoined to the source. We must prevent the 8th Umbral calamity. Eorzea's vision of the future has, I fear, every chance of coming true. By his description, the catalyst for the calamity was a formless and deadly weapon employed by the Garlean Empire. Which can only mean one thing. Black Rose. Gaius was telling you the truth. When we were on the trail of the Ascians, we saw evidence that the gas was being manufactured once more. Gaius was adamant that the project had been scrapped. But so long as there are wars to be waged, there will always be those determined to win by any means. And thus simply destroying the existing stores of Black Rose would do little to alter fate's course. In that sense, our involuntary journey here to the First was something of a boon. Together with the Exarch, we've developed a theory as to how we believe the rejoining will be set in motion. I'm sure Eorzea himself will cover the subject in more detail. But I can tell you the process requires that both worlds, the Source and the First, be facing an existential threat. One being Sin Eaters, of course. They are a menace that I would dearly love to remove, and not just to avert a calamity. I may be a stranger to this world, but I will not stand idly by and let innocent people be slaughtered. That is what brought me to the gates of Yulmore. Ignoring its pretensions as a kind of capital city to what remains of the world, it is nonetheless a center of power and authority. If any solutions are to be found, I believe our search should begin there. What say you, old friend? Hungry for another adventure?
Punch his fist excitedly.
And so we take to the road once more.
It's that or the nod. That's so true. Let me pick this up from Alphino, and then I will go over the user interface for it. Assuming you have no objections, let us make our way directly to the city outskirts. If we time our arrival just right, you may be lucky enough to see why I have yet to set foot in Yulmore, despite my best efforts to do so. Come, From here, we must head west and then cross a small bridge. Okay, so, New Game Plus. Like I mentioned, oh, I can't go through it in here. So give it just a second. So, you've got main scenario, your suspended chapters. Main scenario, which, you know, all 4 parts of Heavensward Stormblood and the first parts of Shadowbringers. Chronicles of a New Era, which are the, like, the raids, the Alliance raids, the trials. I don't actually know what some of these are. And then the side stories, that you get from, like, side stories are self-explanatory. Like, I could replay all 3 of the Hildebrand sections if I wanted to. I don't currently, because it's a lot to go through. However, they sort it pretty nicely, I think. So let's go see what Alphino has to say. Now, as you can see, I'm doing all of this still at level 82. So that makes certain combat situations quite a bit easier. There he is. Calusia seems peaceful, does it not? Almost familiar? I had a similar impression of the Crystarium. Even in this distant world, people are much the same. To think that whenever a calamity struck the source, a reflection such as this one, with all its culture and history, was being erased from existence. No, get away from me. Oh, we gotta go save somebody. Over there. Quickly, someone's in trouble. Somebody's always in trouble. I am so sorry. I am so used to the muscle memory for Dancer. I'm used to Peloton being on that button. That's embarrassing. Oh, thank the fates you- Look out! My poor heart. Thank you, young miss. Ah, there you are. In my haste, I lost my bearings, but I see you have the situation well in hand. Fine work. Are you all right, madam? Just a few bruises from where I fell. Nothing compared to what was in store for me before this brave soul came to my rescue. I honestly thought it was done for. My feet are not as swift as they once were, and I knew there was no one left to hear me scream. Not that I let that stop me. I should probably leave my old house behind and queue up outside Eulmore with the rest of them. Doubt those fancy lords and ladies would welcome an old crone like me. Still, even a shack near the gate has to be safer than staying here. One would hope. Either way, I suggest you avoid wandering alone, lest you make the Sin Eater's task any easier. Thank you again. You saved my life. Now, I'm sure a strapping lass like you has little to fear, but I wouldn't linger long in this place. There's naught to be had here but cobwebs and memories. That's so sad. "'Tis as the lady says. Many in these parts have abandoned their homes to live in Eulmore shadow. Should the Sea Eaters descend upon this region, there are precious few with the strength to fight them off. Speaking of which, have you been told of these monsters?" Yeah, we fought with Alize for a while. Ah, yes, Alize would be well qualified to speak on that subject. Compared with Amarang, Calusia is almost a haven, but as you saw, we cannot let our guard down. Had you arrived but a few moments later, that Sin Eater would have claimed another victim. Excuse me. Still, we have won a small victory this time at least. Now, shall we press on? We need to return to where the road forks and follow the path that leads west. Oh, we can go help this person. Yeah, you definitely get a sense of things are not well here, and not just from the music, but just how washed out everything is. Like, even the greenery is... What's the word I'm looking for? Desaturated, almost.
That gate up ahead is known as the Open Arms, and Eorzea itself lies beyond. This, meanwhile, is the aptly named Gate Town, the dwelling place of the many desperate souls who hope to be chosen to live in the city proper.
I thought I recognized you. Brought a new friend, eh? I'll bet you got a trick or two up your sleeve. Maybe even 3. Care to show me?
She's not here to compete. Leave her be.
What? I was only making conversation.
Ladies and gentlemen, your attention, please! Greetings to our hopeful petitioners, one and all. Eorzea extends its warmest regards. Let it be known that a lady of distinction wishes to dine on fish divine.
I would have really liked to have heard Jesters of the Moon here, because they kept coming back to Final Fantasy IX in this expansion. It would have been a really good use of that theme, I think.
We seek a master culinarian who can guarantee seafood perfection. Dazzle the matron with your delicious dishes, and life in the city will be yours to enjoy. Even on days when fish is not on the menu. Who among you will answer the call? Name yourself or another. We may not at all. What about that girl?
Do you recall how I said Eorzea was a center of power and authority? Well, that is not the only reason for its fame. It is also known as the City of Final Pleasures. The noble and the wealthy who survived the flood gathered here to live out the rest of their days in decadent abandon. A poor man could sooner pass through the Iron Needle than Eorzea's gates. The only way the common folk can enter this perverted paradise is if they fulfill the whim of one of the privileged. And so they are picked over like market produce.
What a catch! We'll not be throwing this one back. Having seen your
routinely doles out to the people of Gatetown, and apparently a staple for its citizens as well. Many here rely on it to survive in these times of scarcity. Yet the whole arrangement just seems... well, let's just say it leaves a bad taste in my mouth.
Now you understand why my attempts to enter the city have thus far come to naught. The dubious privilege of residency must be won via a contest with ever-changing rules. They say this policy has been in place for the past 2 decades, ever since Eorzea's current ruler came into power. Yet from what I have seen, it does more harm than good. Not only does it distract people from our shared struggle against the Sin Eaters, it robs them of their self-sufficiency. I have tried to propose the ways they could improve their lot, but my words invariably fall on deaf ears. The attitude is so entrenched now, I worry that, well, mayhap you should take a turn around Gatetown and judge the situation for yourself. So we're gonna talk to some people. And I think this is a good point to swap back to regular game mode and hopefully bring in some friends to talk about recurring characters. Still here, are you? Can't blame you for wanting a slice of Eorzea pie. If you ask me, you should ditch that sour-faced brat and make a home for yourself here. Gatetown's not much to look at, aye, but at least it's safe, and the meal is the best thing I've ever tasted. So for anybody who's watching in the chat, feel free to drop the characters you want me to showcase, because I can almost certainly go back and find them unless they're permanently gotten rid of, if you will. A large pot bubbles over the flame. Pale chunks, meal, you realize, float in the otherwise plain broth. Characters that have shown up in more than one situation, like characters who weren't just one-off instances of they had one part in the story and then we never hear about them again. And, I'll talk about the twins, of course, the other 3. Yeah, the other 3 that have been brought to Norvrant here. Every day I dream of the life that awaits for me inside those walls. Oh, will they ever pick me? Probably not, hun. I hate to say it. I don't know that I have New Game Plus. Yeah, they don't have New Game Plus for A Realm Reborn just yet, but I know that they're working on it for 5.3. You've seen what Gatetown has to offer? These people can no longer fend for themselves. They've come dependent on handouts of meal, and believe Eorzea is the answer to all their woes. Yeah, I was sorry, otherwise I would. Yet no matter how I frame my encouragement, they seem unwilling, nay, unable to conceive of any other way of life. So I'm gonna take this quest, just so I've got it. Let's point out the obvious. 'Tis difficult to make a final judgment without first seeing the city's inner workings. Mayhap it is the uncertainty which always makes me feel so ill at ease here. Not that it matters. However unjust this system seems to me, if these people claim to be content with their lot, it is hardly my place to criticize their choices. But take that elderly lady you rescued. Does it not seem that those who have chosen to forego Eomore's largesse are doomed to suffer for their independence? In the end, they are all but forced to seek refuge in Gatetown, and so hamlets and fields across the island are left empty and untended, hastening the region's descent into ruin. Nay, I am not convinced that Eomore's generosity truly serves the best interest of Calusia's people. I am not so naive as to think that there is some miraculous solution to all of this, yet I cannot help but frown at the sight of hardworking villagers struggling to survive, even as the chosen few rejoice at being plucked from poverty by the hand of a capricious noble. There has to be a better way. I will not know for sure, however, until I have taken those long-delayed steps through Eomore's gates. 'Tis fortunate that you arrived when you did. I have been working on a scheme to insinuate myself into the city, and if all goes according to plan, it should soon come to fruition. There is a beast tribe who makes its home in the seas surrounding the island. The Ondo they are called, though you and I know them as the Sahagin. For the most part, they keep to themselves in their ocean grottos, and rarely have dealings with land dwellers. But as Tataru took such great pains to impress upon me during our stay in Kugane, business favors the bold, and so I reached out to them. I duly discovered that the Ondo are inordinately fond of land-grown produce, fresh fruits in particular, and when I offered to procure such goods for them, they promised to pay me in pearls. An attractive business venture for any prospective investor, would you not agree? Even the most jaded Eomoran lord would have time for a merchant who can make pearls from plums and pumpkins. Yes, I've come a long way since my days of buying samurai swords without first negotiating a price. My appointment with the Ondo is due to take place in a few hours. I just need to collect the produce and meet with them on the shore. Might you help me make the exchange? Punching fists again. Or punching palms, I guess. Excellent. I should be glad of your company. First things first. We must first pay a visit to Mosha Moa, my supplier and right. It is just to the northwest of here. Alright, I'm gonna pop out of New Game Plus. See, the sky is back to normal. And I'm gonna see real quickly if anybody wants to, like any of my Band of Sometimes fellows want to come in and discuss their favorite characters. 1 second. While we wait for anybody who wants to come with, we're gonna head back to the Crystarium. And I'm gonna talk about Alize for a minute. I don't anticipate this section being super long because this game doesn't have a whole lot of recurring characters. Let's see what she has to say. It worries me at times how easily people accept the momentous and the horrific, but perhaps anyone who has spent their life looking up to find a reminder that the world is on the brink of destruction would be the same. And their resilience is a good thing. It gives me hope when I look at Halric and the others. But yeah, Eorzea has been here technically since her realm reborn. One of the Leveilleur twins, of course. I guess I always really liked Eorzea because she said, she was always the kind of person who would say, I'm not here to be, like, I'm not here for you. I'm here because I have shit to do and it needs to get done. And if this is the most efficient way to do it, then that's how I'm gonna do it. But yeah, she showed up actually in that first cutscene, very, very first cutscene at the very beginning of the game, with Alphino. And then we didn't really see a whole lot of her until, if you ever did Binding Coils. And then she showed up a lot more heavily in, Heavensward. Yeah, she was also Lena pointed out that she's the first Scion to show how much she actually cares about the Warrior of Light. I would argue that Alphino was up there too, as far as, like, you know, you're my friend, my compatriot. And I would argue that how do I want to put this? He stood out to me first as the first real quote-unquote friend that the Warrior of Light had because of the whole nonsense with the Crystal Braves. And they were together, like, through the whole, like, conspiracy in Ul'dah. They traveled to, Ishgard together. But when Eorzea does show up in the story, she shows up hard. So yeah, Eorzea has always been up there as one of my favorite, like, recurring characters, I guess you would call it. I don't quite remember. I remember where to find Y'shtola. So for anybody that's played Dissidia, you know that Y'shtola has shown up as kind of the mascot of Final Fantasy XIV. I think this is where she is. She's here somewhere. Pretty sure. Maybe not. Oh, yeah, she might be in the Crystarium. But yeah, Y'shtola, if you started out in Limsa, as a, marauder or a, let me think, arcanist, Y'shtola is the scion that you meet first. She's known as the Cultured Conjurer. I need to think where she is here. But she's kind of become the mascot of Final Fantasy XIV in other media like Dissidia, or in like the Theatrhythm games. Where on earth would she be, though? I do apologize. I really did think she was in Slitherbow. You know what? I'm gonna find out. Oh, she might be. No, she's not in here. That's unfortunate. I really wanted to show her off. She's very pretty. Yeah, I'm gonna find out. One second. Okay, yeah, Google's not being helpful. But yeah, if I can't find her wandering around, I really... Something tells me she's not in the Crystarium. But yeah, she is the Mikote, the cat girl with white hair, who has kind of been indicative of Final Fantasy XIV as a game. Who else did I want to get? I want to say there's somebody up here too. Maybe. Anyway, Final Fantasy XIV has some really great characters that keep coming back to help forward the main story. The twins, Y'shtola, Eorzea, and Thancred are the five? Yeah, the five that really push Shadowbringers as a story. I really do apologize. I thought I knew where they were. That is unfortunate, and I do apologize for that. I'm gonna head back to my free company place and see if I can't bring some people in to talk official lore, too. But I think I have to say my favorite piece of, like, quote-unquote official lore is everything that the Warrior of Light does in between patches, it's considered to be canon. Like, that's what they are officially on the record as doing in between patches. So, like, if I do nothing but gamble at the Gold Saucer in between major cataclysmic events, that is official lore. And that has always just cracked me up. I love that piece of lore. Hang on. Give me 2 seconds, please. What I might have to do is... Yeah, what I might have to do is talk more of the lore tomorrow. Because we're already at an hour, and like I said, I'm not feeling very well, unfortunately. I should be better by tomorrow. And I do apologize that there's been such a gap in the streams. While I'm thinking about it too, please don't forget that we are still raising money for Extra Life to benefit Children's Miracle Network. It is a great program. It helps children's hospitals. It's just a bug. I'll be fine. I'm already feeling better. Thank you, though. Sadly, I no longer qualify for their services. However, there are lots and lots of kids that desperately need that help. We are at $337 out of 1,000 for our goal this year. When we hit 500, we're doing another really big giveaway. Lena, I have not forgotten about yours. I'm going to try and get it out tomorrow. I do apologize. It has taken me so long. But when we hit that 500, we're going to have a giveaway with 5 winners. And there will be details about that. If we hit $1,000, we are going to do what we're decided to call the Cinder Drift Brutal, where it is me, Queen Buffcat, and Volkendo are all three. They've generously decided, offered to participate with me. We are going to do the Cinder Drift Extreme, which is a notoriously tough fight. And we're going to start out by taking a bite of a hot pepper, and every time we die, like, if I die, I have to take a bite of a hot pepper. And we have to go until we have cleared the fight. So that's my charity challenge for November 7th is our goal. So please consider clicking the donation button. It really does mean a lot to me. It really does mean a lot to these kids that need this medical treatment. It cannot overstate what a great charity it is to donate to. And on that note, I'm gonna throw out the social medias. L'Chaim and BOS Dance are my fellows in the Band of Sometimes. Subscribe to the Band of Sometimes on YouTube. Go follow their Twitch channels as well. Follow me on Twitter at Crowdalava, just like it says on the character name. I will be announcing streams, giveaways, memes, screenshots, cat pictures, all that good stuff. Follow them. I believe BOS Dance is still working on Ghost of Tsushima right now. We'll be doing D&D tomorrow after we finish up the lore stream. And what is my theme for tomorrow? I'm good at this. What is my theme for tomorrow? Oh yeah, emotes. We'll be doing some of the emotes, how to get them, what they do. They're fun. And we'll bring some folks on to show off their favorite dances and emotes. What we had to go through to get them, how much, well, maybe not how much money we've spent on the Mog Station for them, but, you know, the amount, like how we've supported this game through the purchase of emotes. Sure. But yeah, join me tomorrow for that, and then as soon as we're finished with that, we'll be doing Dungeons & Dragons with Care, Mawas, L'Chaim, BOS Dance, and Lizard Party. We'll be doing the second episode of the Rule of Nines, where it'll be Baby's first combat situation in Dungeons & Dragons, so please look forward to it. And I will see everybody tomorrow. Thanks for watching.